Testing. Hey, can everyone hear me? I'm just testing if everyone can hear me nice and loud. Hey, Bachelor, nice to see you here. Christy, alright, Salim, good stuff. Hey, Nuan. Thanks everyone for tuning in nice and early today, right? Joining us for our our weekly pre-market analysis. Hey, Norbert, right, Yamilu, good stuff. Good stuff. Glad everyone can hear me nice and clear. Okay. Hey, George, good morning. Where are you guys tuning in from? All right, I just I watched the Manchester United versus Brighton semi-final, right? Just about 2 hours ago. Because it went into extra time. It's about like 3 hours. But wow, that was a match, man. Not sure if anyone watches soccer or football. Oman. Alright, okay, good stuff. Got people tuning in from Romania. Just give me a moment. Oh well, Manchester United won the match. They won it in penalties. Right. Okay, got people tuning in from Lithuania, right? Stateside, South Africa. Hey Watson, nice to see you here. Right. Forgive me if I sound a little bit stuffed, right? Cause my allergies are acting up a bit. Right. So yeah, forgive me if I if I sound a little bit stuffed. My eyes are a little bit red too. Right. It's yeah, I think it's some of my allergies or something. But anyway, thank you for tuning in nice and early today, guys. Right, in today's webinar, right, is a weekly pre-market live analysis where we give you the really, I say high quality research, right, that we do here at IC Markets, right. We what I like about this pre-market live analysis is that we walk the talk. What I mean by we walk the talk is that every single webinar is recorded, right? As you can see, it's a live recorded YouTube live session. That means it actually goes into our playlist later, right? And the nice thing is that we can review all the previous setups that we did, all the previous calls that we did, right? And it allows us to keep ourselves accountable, right? For those of you guys who have been with me since the start of the pre-market live analysis, or even since when I began doing this live analysis for IC Markets about 2 or 3 years ago, right? You always remember the how we like to review the previous analysis before we do the current analysis, all right? And of course, we have a hit rate of about 80%, I say. A good hit rate that we have, right? We've been on the right side of many of these calls. Like at least we highlighted many of the correct levels and the levels which needs to be broken to trigger further moves up, right? We've been on the right side of them for the better part of the last few years, I guess. Yeah, so today we'll be diving deep. There hasn't been much movement on the markets, so we might focus more on the H4 charts, on the H4 analysis, right? We all know the D1 analysis out there, right? The 1 day analysis. I don't think I was going through the charts. Not many of the key levels have really been broken. So what we'll be doing is we'll likely be looking a little bit at a little bit more on the H4 chart, and especially if you have special requests, right? So if you have a request, please send it in nice and early over here, right? Because It allows me to know what to cover later, right? If your request coming later, I might need to. It gets nudged down the priority list. All right. So please send me whatever request that you have. All right. Hey, Paul. Hey, Rick. All right. Nice to see you guys here. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. Now, guys. All right. So as usual, disclaimer. Remember, everything in this webinar is educational nature. Nothing should be Nothing else should be construed as investment or trading advice. So please do your own due diligence before you guys trade. Okay. All right. We already got requests for crude oil, right? Nasdaq and gold, right? Guys, if you have requests, send them in nice and early. I'll do my best to cover them. All right. And for those of you guys who wonder what's the agenda for today, we really cover three things. One, I look at what are the key news events to look out for. Right, the key news events, usually if we have a forecast, we have a forecast, right? But usually for most of these key news events it actually highlights the events that we should be watching out for, because they are volatile news events. We don't necessarily have a forecast for each news event. For example, if we see CPI there is the previous, and there's the like Forex Factory tends to give you the forecast, right? We don't exercise or practice econometrics here, where we actually try to forecast if the forecast is correct, right? Instead, we take a look at what happens if the forecast is correct, what happens if the forecast is wrong, right? How it's going to affect the markets, right? And how it's going to, how we can position ourselves for that, all right? Amar from Italy. Oh, good evening. All right, good evening. Right, I've been to Italy. I think I've been to Italy for my honeymoon. I think, yeah. After I got married, I went to Italy for I think it's this thing called a Trafalgar tour or something, right? Those tour buses, right? I went there. A really nice place. Been to Italy, been to France, right? I haven't been to some of the other countries I've heard from over here. I hope to now that I can start traveling, but now it's a lot trickier because I have a kid. And once you have a kid, it's almost impossible to travel. Or you can travel, but don't expect to like do much, when you have a kid. Okay, I really love Venice. Right, I should visit that place again. Anyway, introducing your host for today. Right, for those of you guys who are unfamiliar with me, my name is Desmond Leong. Right, just give me a second for a while. Yeah, just give me a second. Okay, sorry, I'm back. I swear, I think maybe I'm getting I have one of those allergy reactions to my cat, right? Which is fine. Right, she's just beside me here. That's why it's starting to act up a bit more. Anyway, guys, right? Introducing our host for today. My name is Desmond Leong, analyst here at IC Markets, right? So I run the award-winning research firm Everest Fortune Group and also the Forex Army, right? So we're finalists for 2019, 2020, and 2021 for Best FX and Best Equity Research. We usually work with the major financial institutions out there to help them forecast where the markets are heading, but we have a special partnership with IC Markets where I bring guys the good stuff, the juicy stuff, the stuff that take a trading to the next level, right? So many of you guys who have been with me over the years, right? We've seen, of course, not only our hit rate, but I've seen a lot of you guys improve in trading, right? From unprofitable to profitable, right? From 40 to 50% hit rate, 50 to 60% hit rate, 60 to even 70% hit rates, right? And a lot of this is the beautiful thing about this is that what I a little bit of sharing that I want to share with you guys is that you don't need to spend $30,000 or $3,000 on some forex course out there. You don't need to go for 30 30 years career in Bloomberg before you can be a profitable trader. As you can see, I'm a very young guy, right? Let's say I'm young, about 33 this year, right? Full-time trader, right, for the better part of the last couple of years, right? And my one bit of advice is that you can achieve a lot of you can start to reach profitability a lot faster, if you're learning from the right people, right? So one of the theories I always have, around the quotes I like to have, is that, the dangerous, some of the very dangerous things to do in life, especially in trading, is to run full speed in the wrong direction. Sorry, let me repeat that. Is to run full speed in the wrong direction. Because in trading, right, it's very different. Trading is very different from the world of academia, right? World of academia, basically when you're studying, right, the more you study, the better the grades you get, right? If you study hard for the finals, the amount of effort you put in has a positive correlation with the results that you get, right? But in trading, that is often not the case, and the danger is when we take our knowledge and our expectations of our world of academia and we bring it to trading. That's where it becomes very dangerous, right? Because we think that the more we read, right, the more complex books we read, right, starting on Hurst cycles, Elliott wave theories, right, harmonics, the more stuff we read, the more stuff we know, the better we do, right? But that is very different in trading, right? You can learn the right things and you can apply them the wrong way, right? You lose money. Or you learn it the wrong way, but you apply them the right way. No, you learn the wrong techniques, right? But you apply them the right way. Yeah, you also lose money, right? So that's a counterintuitive thing about trading. You think that the more effort you put in, right, the more you read, the better you do. But sometimes the market say, yeah, you have read and you have counter-checked every one of your reasons on why this trade will be a profitable trade, but you end up still losing money, right? And you're like, huh, but the stochastic said it was going to bounce. There was bullish divergence. It was on a major support. There was a ascending trend line. It was above the Ichimoku cloud. It was also testing a pivot point, right? The correlations were checking out, right? That means the markets were correlated correctly, right? And you think that, yeah, it should bounce, and with all those confirmations, you place a trade, but you can still get it wrong, right? And the thing about here is that the market works, I wouldn't say mysterious ways, but it's always a game of law of probability, right? What I mean by law of probability, that means that you can have a lot of elements in your favor, right? But if there will never be 100% chance that you're going to get a trade right, you can have a high confidence, maybe 80% chance of being right, but you can never be 100%. Okay, so in trading, when I'm doing the analysis today, right, I have seen questions come through, right? I've seen some of the feedback, right? Hey Aubrey, nice to see you. Hey Sadelmo, right? Nice to see you, right? Yeah. So I've received some of the feedback that you guys have given me, in the previous webinar on the via SurveyMonkey, right? You want to not only see the forecast that we have, but also to get a little bit of insights towards the way I trade, right? How I'm able to live this life, right? I would say live this life. I don't live a super luxurious life. I live a very simple life, right? Have a kid, have a wife, have a cat, right? Run a nice big team of traders, right? And a lot of it is, yeah, okay. I think the Instagram traders out there, those guys who drive Lamborghinis, right? They're in their Ferraris, right? On Instagram, they are a bad. I would say they are a bad gauge, reflection of what maybe profitable trading is like, right? In trading, don't need to do all that. You can be a, you can make a healthy profit and you don't need to buy a Lamborghini, right? So that's how it works, right? Sorry, just checking my connection here. Okay, it's working. Yeah, it's just live a simple life, right? You don't need to always go for luxury and stuff. Okay, and one bit of advice that I want to give everyone before we dive into the markets is that when you're trading, whether you're unprofitable or starting to make a little bit of profits, withdraw a little bit of that money, right, and spend it buying a meal for your family, right? Because when you can actually sit everyone down at a table, maybe with a steak or whatever meal you have, right, and you're eating, you can say, I bought this with the profits that I made, then it's a baby step to feeling what it's like to be, yeah, it's a baby step to feeling what it's like to be, to trade for a living, right? And of course, the beautiful thing about it is that you can see it, you can smell it, you can taste it, right? Those really important things. It's not only just seeing a car, right? But you can see it, you can feel it, you can smell it, you can taste it, right? So one bit of advice I want to give you guys. I know not many. I've coached a lot of traders in the past. I know very few people. A lot of us were thinking of like reinvesting the money back into trading, right? But very few of us are thinking like, oh, let me just withdraw a little bit of this profit, right? I treat my family to a nice pizza, a nice meal, right? And really enjoy, the recognition and the sheer magnitude of what it means, right? Okay. Anyway, without further ado, hey Mando, yes, of course, I remember you, right? Anyway, let's begin today's session. Okay. So as usual, what I'd like to do, we have our charts over here. This time, sorry, with YouTube, IC markets. So you can always look at the previous analysis that we did, playlist. For those of you guys want to know what playlist you should look at, I think it's trading analysis here. We've recorded close to 93 videos in the past, right? So I'm going to share it with you guys. Copy the link here, right? This is one of the links that you want to go to, right? No, this is the live analysis. Is this one? Is this playlist? This is our educational playlist that you want to go to, right? Remember to go here, right? Yeah, remember to go here, and we teach you about a lot of the techniques we use for trading. Some are covered by me, some are covered by my colleagues, my teammates, right? But if there's a few that you definitely need to look at, right? Definitely in-depth support and resistance, Fibonacci, and trade management. You need to check that out, okay? Very, very important in trading, okay? Now, our pre-market and live analysis, you can check it out over here too. Right, so you can see all the previous analysis that we did. Last week's analysis over here. I have made the commentary. I have made the commentary on like the timestamps, right, of our forecasts. Right, so we'll be jumping here and there to kind of review our forecast and see what is there to come. Okay, now I guess from a fundamental, I wouldn't say. Let me just find it near here. From a fundamental point of view, we have for economic calendar, right? At least for the first 2 days, relatively light news. Not that much news to really look at. Monday, honestly, nothing much to look at. Tuesday, there is this consumer confidence, right? To look at, right? It is probably, it's probably the highest news impact event on Tuesday. Not, I personally think. Not this week, if as you look at the markets, right, not that much that you can really look at, right? Rather, not that much big news events, right? I mean, Wednesday we got the CPI, right, going to measure inflation again, right? Thursday we got unemployment claims, and advanced GDP for the USD, for the US dollar, right? And on Friday, right, we got the Bank of Japan outlook report, right? This is usually is the statement and press conference, for forward guidance, since the policy rate of negative 0.1% is likely to remain unchanged. But even though it's unlikely, any change in the policy rate can have a big impact on the yen. All right, so this is the Bank of Japan policy rate, right, and the outlook report, the monetary policy statement, all goes towards like forecasting this, right? I mean, it's super duper unlikely that it's going to change, but if it does, we do want to keep a lookout for it. Okay, German preliminary CPI, definitely one thing that we want to look out for. CAD GDP, GDP, and the USD unemployment cost index and cost PC index, right? These are things that we probably want to keep an eye on, right, for this week. If, as you can tell, that even at the start of the week, there isn't many big news events to really move the markets, right? So so really there isn't that many things to look at. The week in terms of news events look kind of thin, Okay, so we'll go into a little bit of the forecast that we took a look at. All right, I think one of the guiding forecasts, right, I always like to look at DXY first, the dollar index, right? So we are calling for a bounce on the dollar index above the 101.30. We have been correct in forecasting it to drop all the way down, right? And recently, I think the DXY over here, we forecasted it to bounce, as you can see, right over there, right? Cinema mode, right? Yeah, right over there, 101.30 was the support level. We called it bounce, right? And price has bounced since there. Quite nice, okay? Quite nice. We like to use DXY, right? We like to use DXY as the key guiding principle for us to look at, right? So DXY is the dollar index. So if we think that the dollar is going up or the dollar is going down, right, it's going to affect a lot of our forecast for the week. Okay, now DXY. Okay, I already see there's requests for euro dollar. If you have other requests, let me know. But for DXY, frankly, it's in the middle of nowhere. That's the problem. I always like it if it's like somewhere, right? But if you look at it, it's in between one resistance and a major support now. It's literally in the middle of nowhere, which is terrible, right? So I'll be a little bit more neutral on DXY because it is literally in between my first resistance and my first support, right? Okay, so exercise a little bit of caution there, right? Euro dollar last week. Euro dollar last week we were saying that price needed to break above this 1.0353 to trigger the move up, but if it broke below the intermediate support, it should trigger a move down, right? I think what happens is then, right, is that price closed below, right, and it looks like we might be seeing a little bit of a move down, right? If I were to look at this chart, what am I going to forecast? Okay, so I like to look at the 1 day time frame first, right? I'll look at the 1 day time frame. Let me just see if there are any major levels, right? So when we're analyzing the charts, of course, first thing, highlight the major levels. This would be a very key support level to look at. I noticed that there's why do I look at this support, right? When I pick support, I always put it in green, right? Why I like this support is because, you can see very price tends to react off these levels very clearly, right? So the reactions are nice and clean, right? So it's a very clean movement, right? I call these overlap supports, right? Very nice. And so I see a first resistance here, I see a first support here. This establishes, right? This establishes my higher time frame. Okay, if I want to go one level lower, maybe there's a second support over here. There's a second support over here, right? But in terms of resistance, probably about here, right? Not that many levels to look at, right? I think this could be, if I try to fine tune it a little bit, it could be the 127% Fibonacci. There we go. It's a 127% Fibonacci extension, right? If those of you guys who are familiar, it's a very nice Nike tick kind of Fibonacci extension that lines up over here, right? So that's one of the reasons why it's a strong level. Okay, 127% overlap resistance, right? Okay. If I were to then come down into the 4-hour chart, right? So that the analysis can be a little bit more actionable, right? I'm just gonna come here. Let me see what I can find. Maybe a channel. Yeah, I got a bit of a channel. Seems like I got a bit of a channel. Ichimoku seems to be holding prices up quite nicely. All right, it's quite nice here. Hey Diana, nice to see you tune in. Thank you for joining us. All right, so, man, euro dollar is a little bit in the middle of nowhere. Nice little bit of bullishness though. Nice channel, nice Ichimoku cloud. So I would highlight that maybe this would be the first intermediate kind of resistance area. Okay, this would be the first intermediate resistance area, right? Price is required to close here to trigger the move back up to here. All right, so I can see a lot of consolidation, right? You can see price, a lot of consolidation over here, right? So if price manages to close above this, it could trigger a bigger move up to here, right? But first, needs to, what I like is that you will notice that there'll be a little bit of a squeeze, right? There's a nice Ichimoku cloud, right? Nice little ascending support, nice little channel. So you're likely to see a squeeze around here, right? But if it manages to break above here, you know, we could see price rise quite nicely to a first resistance. If it breaks, right? If it breaks this ascending support, breaks the channel, breaks the Ichimoku cloud, it could trigger a move down to here. Could trigger a move down to here to the 1.09 level. So keep a lookout on this, right? This is what I call a, you need to wait for confirmation, right? You can't just take a trade as it is, right? Because clearly there's a bit of consolidation over here. If it breaks out, pretty good chance that we might see it rise all the way to the 1.1073 level. Okay. All right. So let's see if there's anything else that we looked at. All right. Nice trade we did on pound. Pound, not much has changed for pound, right? The key levels are still going to be there, right? No big change. Dollar yen, no big change. Aussie dollar, franc, no big change too. And let me look at some of the other stuff that you guys highlight, right? Oil was one. We were hoping oil would take off over here, right? Didn't seem to take off. It seems to be, we were hoping, right? This was one of the setups which I got wrong. I was hoping for oil to rise all the way after it managed to close above this overlap support, right? Didn't work out nicely. We tend to be on the right side of oil very, very often, right? But this trade, right, I was hoping for it to rise. Didn't work out that nicely, right? And it's dropping to fill a gap now, all right? So big question is what we can expect. What we can expect on oil this time. I tend to be pretty good on gold and oil, right? So a little bit disappointed with this particular, the way that oil worked its way out recently. I guess the key level that a lot of people will be looking at is this. Looking to fill the gap, right, that occurred over here. So quite a few people will be looking at it to watch it fill the gap again. There's one thing I probably want to do, right? I probably want to toggle around 75.66. Just let me toggle around a couple of price feed, right? So that I can see and ensure that it is I just want to ensure that the price feed is consistent with everything else. Yeah, see, some brokers, right, won't have that little gap over there. So that's one thing I'm quite worried about, right? Yeah, not every broker will have a gap. See, some brokers have the gap, some brokers don't have the gap, right? That's why I'm a little bit worried. Okay, so maybe you might stick away from the gap, right, and just look at the key support over here, right? This will probably be one of the key supports that we're looking at, right, for price to, yeah, price to work its way down. It's a nice little overlap support actually, right? So I'm looking at these two levels, right? So it's a nice little overlap support for us to look at. Pick my highlighted area. Yeah, I'll be looking at this for oil, right? I think look at these levels, right? It's like you have a resistance level here, you got support level here. Its price is in the middle of nowhere. It's a little bit tricky to call the move on it. I would look to play a bounce off this level or play a reaction of this level, right? So you need to buy on weakness and sell on strength for this, right? Because it's in the middle of nowhere, so it's equally unlikely that it will drop or it will rise. So you need to watch out for these two levels first, okay? So when it comes to analysis, what I always like to highlight to you guys is that you don't need to always go long or short, right? A lot of times, right, money is made just sitting on your hands, right? Just observing the markets. You need to wait for a confirmation level. Not every analysis will give you we should go long or we should go short here. Some analysis will look like crap, right? Meaning that there are no clear levels, or rather there's no clear direction, right? But some analysis will allow you to look highlight what are the key levels to look at, right? So that you can observe these levels, and when price reaches the levels, you can take action. Right, we have requests for gold too, right? I have been bullish above the 1997 2000 level for a while. Bounce price is holding it quite nicely, I would say, right? It seems to be holding the level quite nicely. All right, let me just what I like to do is once in a while just erase everything, just to clear my mind of the previous analysis, not to have any bias, right? And just allow me to draw my charts again on a clean slate, right, and see if I'm missing out anything. Okay, yeah. Peter requested for a look at Ethereum. I usually do look at Ethereum, so we can take a look at it. Now, one thing I noticed about the 4 hour, the 1 day time frame, is this level over here. Okay, I do like how price, right? I'm not sure you can see enough. I do like how price tends to react off these levels, this little bit of levels over here, right? I do like how it's reacting off it, but what I previously I noticed that price was, there were very clean wicks around here, but recently it looks like price is closing below it. So there's a pretty good chance, right? There's a pretty good chance that price is going to drop for gold. So I would highlight this as the intermediate resistance, right? There is a pretty decent chance that we could be seeing price at least drop to the 1953 level this week, right? Because if you can see, the recent close was below the 23% and below the 1989 level, right? So we could see price inch down to that level. Okay, in terms of support, in terms of this level, it goes pretty far back. You can tell it's a very nice level. So now that price is broken below the 1989, 1990 level, I'm thinking, let me just see. Yeah, I'm thinking that we could see it inch down towards the 1953 level. Looking at the 4 hour time frame, yep, seems about there. It crossed below the Ichimoku, crossed below the overlap. We could see it drop quite nicely to this level. All right, so I quite bearish on gold, right? Yeah, a little bit bearish on gold for it to drop all the way down. Okay, key resistance level probably up here as my first resistance, right? And we're intermediate resistance, and we're playing the move down to our first support over here. Okay, right? If it breaks the first support, technically, what you can expect is that 2338, right? The next key Fibonacci level for it to work its way down to is the 50% support level over here. And I believe this 50% support level happens to coincide with a nice little Fibonacci projection, right? As you can see, it's just about where the 78% Fibonacci projection is, right? So it's not that clear, but if you look very closely, right, this is what I call a very nice overlap level, right? The price respected many times in the past, right? So it will continue to respect it, right? What do I mean by price respecting this level many times in the past? Bounce, you know, reaction from here, right? You can see that the movements that happen around there, you know, they're usually price rejections. They're usually what they call wicks, right? Candlestick shadows, right? And those are the best indication that it's a very important level to look at, right? So keep a lookout. If it breaks the first support, it could even drop down further to the second support. Okay, now we had requests. Let me just take a quick look at the US 30, right? Dow Jones. We were forecasting last week for Dow Jones to make a reversal, touch this level and bounce up to the 33437 level. Okay, I still remain bullish on Dow Jones, right? The key resistance level is over here, right? 34326 level, right? We do think that price is going to rise up to there, but the support level where we could be potentially getting in on is this level, right? And it's slightly above the 23% level, right? So if you wanted to look at area to slowly scale in on, right, it would probably be this area over here, right? Let me just pick the 23% retracement here and the 50%, 23 and 50%. Yeah, 23 and 50% second support down here. Okay, yeah, so I'll be looking to buy on dips above the 33617 level for a rise towards 34326 level for the US 30. Okay, I note there's a request for pound yen. Let me look at pound yen right after you look at Ethereum. All right, let me see what is happening with Ethereum. I'll check Aussie yen in a bit. All right, let's see what's happening with Ethereum, right? I believe last week we had a forecast on Ethereum, right? We were forecasting Ethereum to reverse off the 2151 level, right? The reason why we are forecasting it to reverse off the 2151 level, right? Where is it? Yeah. You can see the 2140, 2154. We are forecasting it to reverse a bit, right? And it reversed very nicely actually. So we caught the reversal very nicely. Now the important thing here is to figure out how do I get this level. Okay. To get this level, you need to go into weekly chart, and you will notice, right? If I do a Fibonacci retracement from the top to the bottom, yes, over here. One is the 50% retracement, right? The second is this level over here. Right. This is what we call a pullback level. As you can see, very nicely, price touched the level and it reversed. Okay, this is what I call the pullback level, right? So we are highlighting this level last week, right? 2150, 2158. We're calling for the reversal from it, right? Price has reversed from it to the first support and slightly beyond, right? So I think it went all the way down to our second support level. Okay, so this was the reversal that happened. Now in terms of Elliott structure, right, I suspect that we could be seeing something like a 1 2 3 4 5 kind of thing, which would mean that we might see a lot more bearishness, right? A lot more bearishness on the on Ethereum. Right, I like that we were on the correct side. We were on the correct side of the forecast for Ethereum, but what can we expect this week? Hey Ahmad, nice to see you. Yeah, thank you. I'm well, I'm well. A little bit allergies, but quite okay. What we can forecast on Ethereum? It's tricky. It's holding nicely at 38%. 61% is down here. Okay. Okay, I checked dollar CAD in a bit too. I guess we could highlight this as an intermediate support level, right? So if it breaks this level, right? If it breaks the 38%, I do think it could free fall quite nicely towards the 61.8 retracement, which is 1686, right? Keeping a very close eye on it. We managed to call the reversal very nicely off the 2140, 2150 level, right? It has dropped very nicely, even broke past the 1956 level, right? So we could see it drop all the way down to here. Keep a lookout on this 38% retracement, which seems to be holding it quite nicely, right? If it breaks that, it should, the next key support that price can drop down to is the 1686 level. Okay. Now I know that there was a request earlier, right? There was a request on pound yen. Wow. A bit hard to analyze pound yen. But I do see a nice level on it. Okay, at least for this week, right? I cannot help but notice this very, very nice overlap over here, which I really like. It's a very nice overlap, right? And I think it happens at a very key 38% retracement, right? So this to me is a very big sign, right? If price is not able to break the 38% retracement that happened at a very key overlap, as you can see over here, is always a good bullish sign, right? So this bounce could be stronger than we expected, right? This bounce could take prices all the way up to here, which is our first resistance over here, right? This would be the key thing I'm looking at for pound yen. You can see how it bounced quite nicely above the support level, which had the Ichimoku support too, right? So it's a couple of reasons why it's bouncing quite nicely. I like that, and I think it could be finding support on the Fibonacci projection level, right? And I think the Fibonacci projection we should be looking at is 61.8, right over there, right? I know you can't really see it. I'm gonna move the things a bit so you can see the 61.8 level. It just coincided over there, right? So nice little bounce. I expect the bounce to I expect prices, as long as it's above this level, to kind of rise towards the key support level over there, right? So it's probably more towards a bullish arrow, a green arrow kind of thing, right? Should rise towards the 167 level for pound yen. Okay, so all right, we have a request of Aussie yen and Euro yen, right? I think I did look at Euro yen last week though. Yeah, Euro yen, I was forecasting a reversal, right, for Euro yen off the 147 level, right? Price has since touched the 147 level and make a reversal from it, right? So you can see that it worked out quite nicely. Yeah, it actually dropped quite a bit, right? When the reversal occurred, right, it actually dropped quite a bit, almost 50% of the way to the target, right? But it probably found the intermediate support level over here. Yeah, so I was... Oh, it says chat disconnected. Let me just refresh my... Oh, God. Why is it doing this now? guys, sorry, it always happens at the worst time, right? I got locked out of the YouTube channel. I'm back in. Can you guys hear me nice and clearly? It shows that the chat got disconnected for a while. All right, nice to be know I'm back. Right? Oh man, like Murphy's law, right? What can go wrong will go wrong. Okay. So yeah. We were forecasting a reversal on Euro Yen last week, right? As you can see, nicely reversal. It has worked out. I continue to expect a reversal from Euro Yen. If it breaks this 146.41 level, it could continue to drop further, right? Andrea, right? Yes, I'm live every Sunday, same time, same place, right? Yeah, I think it's about, is it 8 p.m. GMT? Yeah, it's about 8 p.m. GMT. So if you're in Asia, yes, in Singapore it's like 4 a.m. over here, really early, right? Hope to see you join me more often, right? Mando, I think, I'm not sure if we did gold. Here, I'll take a quick look at gold right after I look at Aussie Yen. Right. While Aussie Yen's a bit messy, but what I like about Aussie Yen is I see a very clear rejection over here. Oh man, tricky. What's gonna happen with Aussie Yen? Testing 38%. A little bit of resistance over here. Stretches a little bit further back to here. Tricky. I think for Aussie Yen, it's honestly a little bit trickier for me, but I will watch for this level. We could be seeing a bounce here, right? But you want to take note that if it breaks the 38%, breaks the ascending support, right, we could see a bigger move all the way down. But for now, I think we could see it's likely to have a short-term recovery towards this level, right? 90.21 level, which is a pretty decent resistance level, right? So we're going to put this as a first resistance level, right? So we're likely to see this little bit of support, right? Price kind of push up towards the 90.21 level, okay? Amma's asking for live lessons on Fibonacci. I think some of my previous, some of my teammates did cover Fibonacci, but okay, I'll take that into account. I'll probably see if I can hold a live session on Fibonacci one of these days. Okay. Yeah, so I would see for Aussie Yen, for price to kind of work its way up towards 90.21 level. If it breaks that level, right, we should see it kind of rise up towards this level over here. Okay. All right. Now, I had a request, right? Was it gold? Mando asked me to do an analysis on gold. I vaguely remember us doing gold, right? Yeah, I vaguely remember us doing gold, right? For gold, we are forecasting for gold to drop towards the 1953 level, right? It broke the key overlap level at 1990, and so and which is also happens to be a key 23.6% retracement. So I expect it to drop all the way down to 38.2 retracement over here, which is 1953. If it breaks that level, it can drop down to 1917. All right. Right. What about dollar CAD? Peter, good question, right? They are two completely different people, right? Jin Dao used to work for me, right? He was doing a couple of my webinars, right? He now has left to do his own little gig, right? But yeah, so Jin Dao used to work under my team, okay? What about dollar CAD? Oh yeah, dollar CAD. I just remember someone asked for dollar CAD. Let's take a look at dollar CAD, all right? It's okay. It's okay, Peter. 50% retracement. Very nice. Dollar CAD, very, very tricky. I want to see if there's divergence. All right, so I need to see if there's divergence. No divergence. I mean, the limit seems to be about here. There is a little bit of divergence on dollar CAD, right? You can see that price continues to inch up this way, right? And we can see that little bit of divergence pushing prices down, right? Nick, man, right? Again, right? Yeah, you're late. All right, session has been great so far, right? A lot of our previous calls from last week worked out nicely, right? For dollar CAD, I do see a short-term reversal on it. How low can it go, right? It could possibly drop down to this level, right? So to be safe, it can drop to here. That's where the divergence began, right? So I'm going to highlight this as an intermediate support level, right? That to me is one of the ways that you can find divergence potential, right? Is to play a drop down to here, or if it breaks the level, all the way down to there. Okay, so keep a lookout for this setup. Pretty nice, right? In terms of the stop loss or resistance level to kind of look at, definitely all the way up to here. All right, very, very nice first resistance over here. Very, very clean level, right? You can see price reacting off this level many, many times in the past. Very, very nice, right? So this would be our big main resistance level, right? So sorry, this is my second resistance level, and my first resistance level is right here. Okay. All right. Right, Nick, I guess I'm going to see you in our other session later. I think it's another 12 hours from now, 12 and a half hours from now, right, with another live analysis session, right, looking more towards the 1 hour and 30-minute charts, right, more intraday trading. Okay, right. I think we had a look at Frank Yen last week, right? So Frank Yen, we are forecasting for price to drop down to 147 and bounce up, right? I think it worked quite nicely. Right? I mean, it did rise up to a resistance level, but it didn't make that initial drop that I expected. A lot of the yen pairs seem to be at testing resistance though, so something that we need to be a little bit wary about. S&P 500, not much change. WTI, gold, Ethereum, Bitcoin, not much change across the US. Was it pound CAD? Yeah, I think it was pound CAD that we were saying that price might bounce from there, right? I think pound CAD did bounce quite nicely, right? As you can see over here. So we are forecasting for the bounce to occur. It seems to have worked out quite nicely, right? Bouncing off the levels that we highlighted. Okay, it's about this level over here, right? Jack, I just did look at dollar CAD. So dollar CAD, the key level to look out for is a reversal of potential reversal of 1.3552 down to 1.3489. If it breaks that level, it could drop further to our first major support at 1.3410. Okay, all right. If I have to pick a pair to look out for, right, dollar CAD reversal, Ethereum, if it breaks this level, if it breaks the 1846 level, right, I'm quite I quite like that it will drop down to the 1686 level. DXY is crap, euro dollar is crap, pound dollar is a little bit crap, a little bit hard to call the levels over here. For dollar yen, I like this level over here, but it's a little bit wonky to me, right? Am I on the 4-hour chart, the 1-day chart, 1-day time frame? Yeah, if I will look at the 4-hour chart here, a little bit wonky. I'll stay away from the yen pairs a bit. It's not the movements are not as clear for me, right? The movements are not that clear for me. But for yen, as you can see for this one, you know, we could see a nice little bounce above the 133 level for price to kind of work its way up back up towards this major resistance level, 135 level. Okay, yeah, but it's not as clear to me for the yen pairs, right? I really like dollar CAD, I really like Ethereum, right? Aussie dollar, no move as usual, very very hard to see. Dollar franc, not that confident, right? Kiwi, not that confident. Oil, not that confident. Gold, I quite like the move that we're looking for, a drop below 1990 towards the 1953 level. I pretty like that level, right? Yeah, but so those are the key ones for me over here, right? US 500 still waiting for the close above the 414 level, 415 level trigger move up. Yeah. All right, good stuff, man. Guys, thank you for tuning in for today's session. I really appreciate you guys, whether staying up late or waking up early just to join me for today's session, right? I hope you got bits, you enjoyed bits of trading, rather more general trading tips that I shared with you at the start of today's session, right? It was one of the big feedbacks that you guys gave me, right? That, you know, it doesn't have to be purely about analysis, right? You don't mind listening a little bit more about like general trading tips, right? Or, you know, day in the life of a trader kind of stuff, right? Thank you, Peter, right? Yes, I'm gonna get some sleep before I get to work, right? Yeah, and I need some help with that, right? Right. Thank you, ex-bachelor, right? Thank you, Ahmad, right? It has been a nice session with you guys, right? Remember, tune in about 12 and a half hours time for our live trading session, right? And I believe the live trading session, it is unlikely to be done by me, right? I don't yeah, it is unlikely to be done by me. I think it's going to be done by Cassandra or someone else. All right. Yeah, you can join us in the live analysis sessions that is happening in about 12 and a half hours, right? Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Nuwan. Thank you, Rohan. Right. Thank you, Andre. Oh yeah. Some of you guys were asking last week. We were running a quick little poll. Let me see if I have it over here. If you can, just let me send the link to you guys. Yes. So it's just one of the small little things. If you don't mind, you could leave some feedback for me over there. Right, it's a constant poll that we run every week, right? So you can leave me anywhere from 1 to 5 star reviews. But most importantly, let me know what you enjoy about this webinar and what you want to see improve, what you want to see a little bit more of, right? If you last week, I think it was like the for some countries it was like a holiday and stuff, so I didn't manage to share it with many people, right? So you guys can take a look at it now, right? If you can share with me some feedback, right? I will share it with the IC markets people, right? So we changed the timing because of it, right? And if you guys want some additional markets to cover or some additional things you want me to look at during the webinar, you want me to spend the first few minutes maybe ask me anything, right? I can spend like first 10-15 minutes ask me anything, right? Or maybe like trading lifestyle kind of guidance or tips. Let me know in the survey, or I'll be more than glad to look at it. Okay, guys? Thank you so much. Thank you for staying throughout this webinar. Have a great week ahead. Okay, stay safe, trade safe, and I'll catch you guys throughout the week, man. All right? See you. Take care. And yeah, depending on where you are, yeah, probably go get some sleep. Okay, see you guys. Bye-bye.